Welcome back to my channel, The Crafty Quinn. Today we're taking everyday Dollar Tree finds and turning them into 3 spooky haunted DIYs. We've got haunted houses, ghosts, and creepy candlesticks. So let's get crafting. Starting off with DIY number 1. Each one of these crafts are pretty much involved and there are a lot of steps to them, so each clip is going to be a little bit longer today for all of these crafts, but just because there's so many steps involved. Starting off with this Dollar Tree cloche, which is currently available in Dollar Tree's gardening section. So we tried a bunch of different methods. That's my husband's hand helping me secure this topper off of here because it was not easy. So we just kind of drilled into it and then just had to keep messing with the top until it came off. And now we're taking a Dollar Tree haunted hand that I just found in stores, and I'm taking a solder tool and melting down the middle of this Dollar Tree cake platter. So it's perfect because the very end of our hand is a little point, and so we were just making the hole in the middle of the cake platter just so that the creepy hand can stand up inside this cloche. And then I took some frosted glass spray. This is Rust-Oleum, and I found it at Home Depot. So the frosted glass gives it a nice, old-timey look to it. And then this cake platter definitely needed to be spray painted as well. So this is in the party planning, or whatever you want to call it, the event section of Dollar Tree stores with all the, party items. So we just spray painted this from top to bottom. And what's cool about it, it has some nice little edges around it. And I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do with that too. But this part has to go. I need to cut this off. This is not part of the antique cloche look. So I just cut off the trim of this. And it also was messing with fitting inside the cake platter ridges as well. So I just followed the little indent there, but yeah, it's pretty easy to cut this off. And then once that's secure, we have our top piece. And then of course it wouldn't be a haunted cloche without some creepy spiders. I just found webbing in stores, so they are really upping what's out on shelves for Halloween right now. So now is the perfect time to get everything you need to be able to make this craft. So what's great about this plastic hand, it has a lot of sharp-ish, rough-ish edges, and that is great for sticking to this Dollar Tree webbing. So it's easy to just wrap it around and you don't need to glue it down because it will stick to the fingers. And then of course I have my crafty little assistant Eddie come and supervise what I'm doing. As soon as I start crafting, he just hops up on the table like, "What you doing?" So these little spiders also stay very well secured in the webbing as well. So I just put it back in place. I put it back in the hole that we created with the solder tool. And we are almost ready to go, but we do need to secure this hand a little bit more. And then I was also just kind of mapping out, okay, is this going to stay with the hand in there? Because when I had measured it before, it seemed like it was going to work. And then once I actually put the pieces together, the hand was like too tall. So I had to go back, use the soldering tool again, and I kind of melted down the fingers just so that I could bend them and they would actually stay bent. So I just kept melting. Of course, this plastic is very easy to melt. So I just kept melting it with the soldering tool. And I did that for the 2 fingers you see there because they are blocking this cloche from completely closing. I love this little tool. This is my husband's tool that I borrowed, and I really need to buy one for myself. And then we are securing this hand down with some hot glue. And then for the top piece, hot glue does not, it does not hold the little topper for this cloche because it's plastic on plastic. We 3D printed a topper with a little bat on it because I couldn't find the perfect thing that I wanted to use. So I did a mix of E6000 in the middle, which is I got the low odor kind. And then I did also use hot glue just to kind of hold things in place while the E6000 dries. So I am taking some folk art antique brass paint, and I'm taking my chippy brush and just, not distressing, but I'm antiquing the edges. And I absolutely love how this gives it more character. I already liked the sides of this cake platter, but it just felt too plain. And then I also decided to do it to the little bat on top that my husband so kindly 3D printed. I couldn't find I don't know, a good handle or anything at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's to sit on top of this. So that's why we kind of had to just print our own. This was a concoction he printed. But, you know, it's up to your preference. So I just did this all the way around. And that's really all there was to this craft, but I did go back and add some more spiders once I found them in stores, and I added more webbing as well. So I think we have a creepy haunted hand. DIY number 2. So I already had this piece cut because I used the styrofoam for another craft, but the more I saw this, I was like, wait a minute, this would make a cool little moon craft, and then I would love to put this on a candlestick. I saw this candlestick that I really liked that had a cat and a half moon on it, but it turns out it was like AI designed at Michael's. So I was like, if they can get away with putting out AI decor on their shelves, then I'd rather just make my own at home. It's not going to come out amazing, but it's still a fun craft to make. So yeah, this is Dollar Tree styrofoam, and I just kept cutting at it with the X-Acto knife because that was really the best tool that I had on hand to cut this with. But I'm curious what you guys use to cut your styrofoam because I would love to find a better tool than this. So yeah, drop a comment down below if you have a tool that you really like for cutting the styrofoam. So I just kept doing this until it was a decent half moon shape. And then I'm using more of that antique brass folk art paint, and I'm just using very, very small amounts of it with the chippy brush because it really gives it a nice, not only antique look, but it does look distressed as well, and it just looks old and worn and has a nice shine to it. So I did that for all of the ridges of each little candlestick at the bottom, and these are just everyday Dollar Tree candlesticks that you find over in the candle aisle. And I had these in my stash for a while, and now I'm glad I got to use them, but they are still out on shelves now. So I did this to the entire thing. I didn't use a whole lot of this at first, and then the more I went in, I was like, you know what? I think this could be get away with being a little bit more gold. This was definitely a difficult thing to paint because the styrofoam, of course, just absorbs and eats all of your paint. So I had to go back and just add so many layers to this just to make sure it was completely covered. As you can see there, just adding a lot more. So I did this multiple times until it was adequately covered. And then I found this Raven Halloween tree topper. That's what it's supposed to be for their miniature Halloween trees. But as soon as I saw this, I thought it would be great for a craft. And now I'm glad I grabbed this because I felt like this is great for the other candlestick. So I just played around with this a little bit. You know, it's Dollar Tree wire, so it doesn't really need a whole lot of help before it will come apart. So I use my miter shears first. I just kind of use that for everything. I didn't have any good wire cutters, but I used scissors too and just bent it and then it came off. So I'm using some dental sponges. I just felt like chippy brushes weren't really going to make a dent in this. So I took a dental sponge and just dipped that in paint. And I just felt like it needed some trim and just more of an outline shape. I was originally kind of going for an ombre look. Not sure if I achieved that, but I just wanted it to have some kind of dimension and an outline. So yeah, the candlesticks only took a few bucks to make, and Michael's is charging, I don't know, maybe $16, $17 for something that AI made. So yeah, I feel better making my own stuff sometimes. So I just added some trim, more of that antique brass color, and some chippy brush distressing. I guess you'd call it antiquing. So once I had it completely covered, then I couldn't find the best way to really do this. So I felt like I would give it a shot with hot glue, and it actually did stick. but I'm sure you could use E6000 as well. It was just a little bit tricky with the Raven part because it didn't really have a good piece to adhere to on the back of that. And then I had these Dollar Tree candlesticks already in my stash, and I was just waiting for the right candlestick craft to use these for. So here we go. This was the final result. And I can't wait to have a mantle someday to put these on. I'm gonna have to find some space that my cats can't knock these down. DIY number 3. So there are a lot of miniature houses, and so this craft in particular, this is going to take quite a few minutes because there are a lot of different little pieces and components to this because we are going to make a haunted village. So there are so many miniature haunted houses like this one right now that I keep seeing every time I go to Dollar Tree, and this is just perfect because there are like little fairy houses still sometimes too, and then just taking some poster board I feel like is a good backdrop for this, but you're going to need quite a few just everyday houses that Dollar Tree has on shelves, plus some of these haunted houses too for their lights effects. So this is some black acrylic paint. It's like a Waverly paint. I think it's called ink. And then I'm taking baking soda, and I just wanted this more texturized look to these because they're kind of shiny plastic. So I kind of wanted to give it like a matte texturized look instead. So the paint was looking too shiny, so I just kept adding more baking soda until it just kind of looked more matte. And then you have to be careful once you do this because when you keep adding this like this, it just dries faster. And so the paint in the bowl was drying up a lot faster. So just apply it quickly after you make this concoction. I felt like I had enough, and then I ended up having to make more because it all dried out. So just to give you an idea of how quickly it can dry. So I covered up all the windows because I was worried I was going to get the paint on the light bulb that was inside of this, and that's why I did that. But it ended up not necessarily being like super important to this, but still, I mean, if you're worried about getting any on that lamp inside, then I would just tape up all the windows like I did. So I just wanted to get rid of all of this shininess and yeah, just give it more dimension. And I thought it would especially look cool closer to the bottom of this where all the brick was. So it really does look like brick. And then I didn't leave the tape on too long. Once I had everything thoroughly covered, I'm like, okay, I can take the tape off and just kind of go just easily around these edges, just gently. Wherever I saw shininess, I was just covering it up with this. And it worked out pretty well. So this is the other little haunted house. So this one, it lights up all different colors and it also lets out some creepy sounds. So I thought this was another good one to grab for our haunted village. So I made the same concoction. I had to make a whole new batch for this one, and then this quickly dried as well. So, but no, it does work great, and I'm really glad I did get to try out this method. This is my first time ever doing this method using the baking soda, so this was fun practice. So I just covered up the area completely, and then I also tried doing that to this, but I don't think I added enough baking soda for this because it did come out a little bit shiny at first, but I think after it dried, it did look a little bit more matte like the others. But this is a small leftover fairy house that I found over in the gardening section of Dollar Tree. So this was just out with all of their summer stuff, and I grabbed the last little fairy house that I could find. So you don't absolutely need this one for your village, but it's more of a nice to have. And then I thought I didn't want to use white because I was going for a very specific look. So I like to have all of my crafts match each other in some way. So then I used more of the antique brass folk art color. And it really comes out looking awesome later on once all the lights are off and you turn on all of your little tea lights. It all comes together. So I just drew over the outline of every window and door and just every outline that made sense. Definitely wanted these windows to pop, and definitely the door. And then there was a tree as well that I decided to outline because it had cool ridges in the like veining in it. So I thought that the brass color would help make that stand out as well. So just take one of the smallest brushes that you can find. I think the brush I used, even though it was small, was a little bit too big, so I probably would have used an even smaller one. And my hands were shaking too much. It was definitely tricky. But these are the doll houses that you can find just normally over in the toy aisle. So those are just some everyday items that I thought were perfect for this. I had this pack of tea lights on hand, and I'm so glad I did because they are going inside our little doll houses. And I spray painted these outside. I actually did spray paint these myself. The door came off of this by accident. I didn't realize there was tape in the back, and then I pulled off the door with it, and then I had to reassemble it. But so here's the cool part. So I got this all black just poster board over in the like office supplies section, the school supplies section, and I thought, how cool would it be if I took these chalk pens and just drew little walkways, and that would really make it turn into a village. So these are Dollar Tree chalk pens that I got in the crafting aisle, and this was the perfect timing to use them. So they actually worked out really well, and they really pop on this poster board. So it ended up being a really good mix of materials. So I kind of was trying to go for a brick walkway for each of these. And I also wanted to connect all of these in some way too, but I ended up not doing that. I wasn't sure if it was going to look good, so I backed out of doing that. But I would love to interconnect all of the little walkways in this village. So this was great because it also helped me remember where each house went. So this one, I couldn't see it like a door on the front, so I just decided to make a little walkway coming from the side. I don't know, ended up kind of coming out like a candy cane, but it's all good. Eddie jump scare. He actually scared me. But yeah, he, of course, if I'm, you know, close to him, he has to jump up and see what I'm doing. And there was a lot of like weird angles on this part in particular because I had to build this village downstairs. I didn't have enough space for this in my crafting room upstairs. So easy access for the cats. I had about 3 different cats jump up here when I was doing this, and somehow I only caught one of them on camera. So for this one, I decided that I wanted trees. Well, I guess these like these stripy pumpkins. I thought they would make cool trees for our haunted village, but the only way to get them to stay upright was to attach them to something. So I decided, you know what, let's attach these to the tallest house first, and it's in the back, so it'll kind of look like trees popping up from behind that. And then I did that for the other little haunted house as well. I used 2 smaller sprigs. But this way, everything can be disassembled, nothing is glued down, and I couldn't really glue down any of these houses anyway because of the battery pack that's at the base of each of these, so then I wouldn't be able to open that ever again and change the batteries. So this is some moss. It's like burnt, it's like a fall burnt moss, if you will, from Dollar Tree. And I love this stuff. I never really used this before, and then now I'm using it for all of my fall crafts. But I just felt like it's perfect for this. It looks very fall. And then I got this pack of pine cones from Hobby Lobby, and then it also came with these miniature pumpkins in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have to use this for the village. I'm gonna put little pumpkins in front of each house so it looks like they're all decorated for Halloween. I mean, a Halloween village has to have pumpkins. I love how this turned out, you guys. Now I just need space to put this somewhere where my cats can't get to it, but it came out better than I had even imagined. So I am obsessed with this, and I can't wait to display this for Halloween and hopefully keep my cats from stealing all the pumpkins. But this was such a fun craft to make, and I wanted to make some haunted crafts for Halloween, just some really spooky ones. So I think I accomplished my goal. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was so much fun to make. And as you may have seen, I have now switched to a Thursday schedule, so that's when my next video will be coming out. So let's keep in touch on social media in the meantime, and if you want to watch more videos, check them out here on the left. Thanks so much. See you next week.